All right. So, how was your Thanksgiving, Andy?
Um, it was good. It was what is it? It was real good. I had my family over. Um, what was it? A lot of my cousins weren't able to come, but it was fine. I actually met my youngest cousin's boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean he seemed like a fine young gentleman.
That's pretty big deal. Coming to a family Thanksgiving.
Right. I mean, yeah. I think they've been off and on for a little bit. Um, I mean, unless I'm thinking of a completely different boyfriend, then
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, he seemed like a perfectly nice guy. Very respectful. Got a good head on his shoulders. Promising career. Um, yeah, I didn't necessarily feel I had to give like, even though I'm not her older brother, but I didn't feel like I had to give the older brother talk.
That's good.
Yeah.
You didn't have to bring out your shotgun and start cleaning it in front of in front of
and
everyone.
and yeah, and tell him I sometimes have flashbacks of Nam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any what was so you pretty much just hung out with family. Did you do anything else during the weekend? Like see any movies, do anything fun like that, or is it mainly just eating during the day?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's weird. I think we've had like the latest uh, dinner. I don't know what time you guys usually have dinner, particularly for Thanksgiving, but I had it like around 5:30.
Well, that's pretty. Yeah, we usually have it a lot earlier than that. Like, well, because because we ordered food from Rosie's,
Mm-hmm. Oh, love
so
Rosie's.
we picked up our order at like 11:30,
Mm-hmm.
and so like we technically had Thanksgiving lunch, and then
Mm-hmm.
but then we had more at night, so we ate again probably about like 4 or 5, because there was a lot left over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it was my sister was cooking all the food this year, or at least did most of the heavy lifting in terms of cooking.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess it just took a little bit longer than expected. Because again, we don't usually do Thanksgiving, particularly at my parents' house. It's just feel my aunt didn't feel like, or she didn't necessarily feel like having Thanksgiving at her place this year,
Yeah.
and then also because of what seems like an interminable long time that the city was doing construction on the street in front of her house. So
So
parking,
yeah,
yes,
that'll only be going on for another like 5 years or so.
yeah, right. I know because they said that it was going to be done in like 2 years, and I think it's just about to pass 2 years. So
Overtime and over budget, baby. That's how the city
yeah,
goes.
exactly. Oh, geez. I also went to a birthday party for this kid I knew. I don't know why I say kid because because one, I guess I do know why. Because he used to be one of my Bible study students, and he's only 5 years younger than me.
Yeah, so he's still, it's like he's a kid to you.
Yeah, so he's still a kid to me. Um, yes. So like anyone younger, I always refer to them as a kid.
That
I could
means
be
I'm
like
a kid.
I could be 80 years old, and then I could be 80 years old, and a 79-year-old will still be a kid to me.
Damn, that means I'm a kid.
Yeah. Well,
I'm only
also
2 years
it
older than
also matters like the context in which I knew you. Like if I knew you in a more like what is it, superior subordinate uh, manner, then yeah, I'd think of you as a kid. But since since we're friends, and I met you in the context of friends, then I see you more as a peer as opposed to a subordinate.
Yes. I grew up. Yes.
But not by much, because again, because I'm Korean and I have that Confucianism in me.
Well, it's also the you with comments like on my not understanding what was meant by fossil fuels, a few weeks ago.
Oh
you know,
yeah, that's crazy. Because I would, I don't know, I don't know. I mean, I know we're only like 4 years apart, is it or less?
too.
Oh, 2 years, 2 years apart. My bad. Yeah, we're only 2 years apart, but vastly different amounts of information apparently.
Well, okay, I think that my assumption on why it was called that was a valid assumption. It wasn't like some like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not. I wasn't like the typical millennial. Just I have no idea what the hell why they call it that. I actually had a reasoning behind it.
Right, but I mean, even still, like in school, when when they talk about dinosaurs and fossils, like that would have had to have come up. No,
No, it never did.
clearly you have not. Clearly, you haven't watched Captain Planet.
It's been a while since I've watched Captain Planet.
Oh.
Back in what was that on? Like back in the early '90s. Like it's been a
Yeah,
while. No, I do remember the theme song to Captain Planet.
right. Yeah, no. Who doesn't forget? Who hasn't?
I mean,
Who
I'm not
can
a
forget it?
monster.
But yeah, but I
Let's see.
mean, I don't know. I guess. Yeah,
I have my
I
moments of
just thought it was
stupidity.
I just thought it was common knowledge. Is all I'm saying. Not necessarily an indictment of the education system, which I think nowadays it genuinely deserves. Um, but yeah, I guess it's just it's never take for granted what you think is common knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same thing on other things where I'm like, how the hell did someone not know this?
Mm-hmm.
So it happens. Like I can't know everything, Andy. Let's see. My Thanksgiving was did not exactly go as planned,
Mm-hmm.
or uh, everything worked out great. Well, let's see. We had a good Thanksgiving. We ordered from Rosie's. Um, two issues with that though. There was no ham, so I was kind of disappointed there. There was no sweet potatoes, so also a little bit disappointed there. Let's see what else. It was raining all day, so the initial plan to go to the LA Auto Show looked like that was about to fall through, and we didn't go on Thanksgiving, which I was kind of sad about.
Mm.
But what we did do is the week before Thanksgiving, I think actually it may have been the Sunday before, we watched Ford versus Ferrari, which is the movie starring Christian Bale and Matt Damon, depicting the story of the battle in the '60s of Ford trying to beat Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is one of the most famous sports car races in the world. And it's like it's one of those races, like any race car drivers, like that's worth their salt, wants to go there and wants to compete and win. And so it's kind of and actually the movie did a really great job of being very historically accurate. I mean, there's a few things that they punched up a little bit, but for the most part, it was pretty damn accurate. So for Thursday, what we ended up doing was um, my dad found out about a movie or a documentary called The 24-Hour War, which is the documentary version of Ford versus Ferrari. And so
Mm-hmm.
we ended up watching that, which I learned quite a bit, stuff that I didn't know, kind of the background story, and we also it was produced by Adam Carolla, and it turns out that in the making of the 24-Hour War, they were trying to also tell the story of Carroll Shelby, who was a big part of the Ford racing program. And they gathered there was so much information about Carroll Shelby just as himself that they decided to create a whole second documentary called Shelby American. And so we ended up watching that too, and there was a lot to learn, and it was so we had a great time. We ended up watching those two films, watching watching those two documentaries, eating dinner. The other thing that since we didn't go to the auto show that day, something I also was pretty excited about. My favorite football team is the Buffalo Bills. Now the Bills don't get shown on national television pretty much ever, so because they suck. So they're not going to be on like Monday Night
As long as, but
Football.
yeah, but at least you're not delusional about it.
Oh, I know, I know. Like, well, but this year, you know what? They're not that. They're actually competitive. They're doing really well,
Oh yeah.
and I was shocked. I was shocked to see that they were playing the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and it was being televised. So I took the opportunity to watch the Bills, and damn, they kicked Dallas's ass. It was a satisfying win. And I don't know. I think the
Oh,
Bills might make the
was that
playoffs.
then? Was that then kind of? They met in Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, they met them twice. They got their ass handed to them by Dallas. This is when Dallas was really good.
Right.
Uh,
I
yeah,
think
we
yeah.
got
The
murdered,
At least
murdered
the
by.
only other time I can remember is like the one in the early '90s.
Yeah, so I think the four teams that we faced in the Super Bowl were, I think it was Washington, it was the Giants, and Dallas. I think it was Dallas twice,
Hmm.
and the only one that was close for the Bills was the one with the Giants. That still is just such a heartbreaking defeat. It's just like it's kind of how I felt after the 2017 World Series against Houston. It was
Hmm.
like we were there. I
Hmm.
could feel it. We were there, and just stabbed in the heart. Um,
Yeah.
most of my sports teams leave me with just daggers in my heart.
I know. It's you just care too much, Robert. That's just what it is. You just care too much.
I think that's what it is. Um, but yeah, no, it was good not only to watch the Bills on a mid-season game, but then also see them win and looking like they're actually in pretty good shape for the playoffs. And in our conference, the AFC conference, like I think the only teams that might be better than us are
Hmm.
Baltimore and New England. Though New England, we probably should have beat New England the game that we lost to them.
Hmm.
It was a very close. It was a very close game. So I'm actually like we might actually be able to beat New England, and that'd be another 3 wins. That puts us maybe like second seed in the AFC. So I don't know. Maybe we got a shot this year. I don't know. I'm trying not to get my hopes up because man, I've been disappointed before. We lose the last 4 games of the season, go 9-7, and my hopes go down the drain. But we'll see. So I was
Yeah.
pretty excited about that. Then on was it Saturday? Uh, it was no Friday night. We ended up watching The Irishman, the recent Scorsese film that's out on Netflix now,
Hmm.
and that's the story of the one of the theories of the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa, the Union Kingpin, uh, which was a fantastic movie. It's long. It's not like, oh my god, why is this movie so long? It's really it's everything's great. The cinematography is good. The acting
Right.
is
I heard
great.
it's like almost like it's over 3 hours.
3.5 hours.
Yeah. But
But
I hear but that you're so engrossed in it that you don't like. It's kind of like if you watched Avengers Endgame and just like you don't necessarily feel those 3 hours.
no, and the thing is, like, nothing felt like it drug on too long. It
Hmm.
was it was all like it, everything was like what there was. You couldn't really cut anything out, from there. It was
Mm.
all like it was all necessary to tell the story.
Mm.
Um, and man, the acting was just it was fantastic. I mean, you had all the old Scorsese like characters, actors that he's worked with in the past. It had Pacino, De Niro, Pesci, Harvey Keitel. It had some of the actors that were in his show from Boardwalk Empire. Yeah, you had those. Who else was there? Ray Romano was in it. Anna Paquin, who like they were complaining like, oh, she didn't have enough speaking role, or she didn't have enough of a role in the movie. It's like that's because she wasn't like an important. She was a side character that didn't. She had enough. It wasn't that like she's a terrible actress and we don't want her. We don't want a woman talking on screen. It's just like she was a minor character and she did have some speaking parts, but it would have been weird had her character had more of an influence in the movie. It's just it wouldn't have made sense.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, you had and honestly, it was period correct. Like no one at that time was like, if the I hate I really hate the left sometimes. Like they're just we're gonna ruin everything that's good. But
Yeah,
no,
I know. I
seriously,
get it. It's like oh, this is fun for you. This is fun for you. Ruined.
yeah. But no,
So
it's
you really appreciate this thing right here. Yeah, smashed.
exactly. But no, the movie is really good. And I mean, I will say that the one thing Al Pacino doesn't necessarily look like Jimmy Hoffa, but
Mm-hmm.
damn, if like he definitely personified Jimmy Hoffa very well. Just as corrupt, smug union kingpin. It was like he was great, and it was just it was a great movie. I highly recommend it. Like go if you don't have a Netflix subscription, I would say subscribe just to watch this film. It's definitely worth it. It's really good.
Mm. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. When I'm not busy editing or doing something else.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then lastly, on Saturday, I did finally end up going to the LA Auto Show. I went kind of going on no sleep, so that was but we had a really good time. The Corvette C8 was on display there, which is the new generation Corvette, which is
mhm.
they have it's now mid-engine rear wheel, as opposed to the front engine rear wheel drive,
Mhm.
trying to improve performance and it looks. I think it's going to be a success. It looks good. I'm kind of curious to feel how it would drive differently than the previous generation Corvettes. What else was pretty interesting? A lot of cars are now trying to compete against a lot of manufacturers trying to compete against Tesla. I know Porsche has their electric sports car. Ford is trying to put out some stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Audi has like their electric thing. Yeah, everyone's going like
right.
electric. Um, but yeah, I mean, unless they could like have it so like it powers up like to a minimum, so you could travel at least 10 miles. I don't think I don't. Well, like it might be a very long time before I actually like switch to electric.
And here's the
Um,
thing where because the one now I'm not a Toyota guy by any means, but Toyota has they have the Toyota Mirai, I believe, which is a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle.
right.
To me, that I think that if we're going alternate, use energy uses to power cars,
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that's the better way to go because I feel it's uh, much more sustainable because you can create hydrogen uh,
Right,
fairly
because
easily.
hydrogen is one of the most abundant substances. I mean, supposedly in the universe.
Right.
So there's gobs of this stuff, and also the what is it? The emissions is water.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's environmentally friendly. I and see with the hybrids and the electric vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
those batteries, once they go bad, there's unless we find a way to be able to recycle those batteries,
Right,
and that's cost effective and good for the environment. I think that's more dangerous to the environment uh, than helpful. Um,
right, because they always
generally
talk.
there's
Yeah, because
oh
they always talking about how oh we need to be sustainable, we need to protect the earth, and yada yada yada. And they show the pictures of the small Indian children, in the technological scrap heap, pulling out all the gold and the plastics and burning the rest. Is like those lithium ion batteries that are in those cars that are in our cell phones, they're not recyclable at all
no,
whatsoever, and the minerals that are used are highly toxic. And so you're saying like let's protect this planet, but then you're completely negating the supposed um, benefits of electric technology with the detriment to the planet.
right. And so I actually think that the hydrogen fuel cell would be the better way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I know General Motors was doing they were doing testing with it, and the results ended up coming. They ended up creating the Chevy Volt and
Mm-hmm.
like some of their hybrid stuff. But I actually really think that is the better way to go. It's quote unquote environmentally friendly, um, and yeah, I would like to see more of that being done. Um, but what I don't understand, like outside of like a few things, like God, every like electric vehicle or hybrid is pretty fucking ugly, dude. I don't
Yeah, I
understand
mean,
like why.
I remember like the very first like electric car they put to market back in the mid '90s, and God, it was an eyesore.
Yeah,
Just like it had like like the kind of like half covered rear wheel, and it had like this like kind of weird sloping design. It's like it just wasn't appealing aesthetically.
right. Um, but yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything like super exciting at the auto show this year. I mean, there's a few things that I'm kind of liking. Was Audi had a really interesting kind of they had a wagon station wagon that kind of a high performance station wagon, which
Mhm.
to me I think are really cool because it's like, oh, this is stupid station wagon. It's like, and then it blows your doors off. It's like, oh shit, it's
Yeah, no, station wagon back in the day, they were very powerful.
yeah. I don't know. There's just something about a high performance station wagon that just
Mhm.
excites me. Um, Buick has a pretty nice one, although they didn't have it at the show. Let's see. The Cadillac had one for a while, which was really awesome. And they actually have some really nice cars out. Who else had a really, really good one? Um, then Chevy has their line of stuff is pretty good. Obviously, they got the Corvette, the Camaro, the Malibu is nice. But I actually kind of like some of their, I guess, SUVs that they have coming out with the Blazer and the Trailblazer. Those seem pretty
Oh,
nice.
are they bringing those back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Blazer and the Trailblazer are back.
Mm. Yeah, I remember those back in the day.
Yeah. So I love those old like K5 Blazers and stuff. Like those, I think those are pretty darn cool.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, it wasn't like the best LA Auto show ever, but like it's just one of those traditions. Like I like being able to go with my family and talking with my dad about cars and because it's stuff that excites him, and it's just a way for us to connect.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean I've been going. I think I've missed only one show since like 1990, and so it's been a tradition that we've always done.
Mm. Yeah, that's cool.
So all in all, a pretty damn good Thanksgiving weekend.